In this video, we'll be taking a look at 4 college basketball games happening on January 25, 2025, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 8 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 4 college basketball games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Michigan State versus Rutgers. The 8th-ranked Spartans claimed a narrow 80-78 victory over number 19 Illinois on Sunday as -1 favorites in a thrilling home matchup. Meanwhile, the Scarlet Knights fell to Penn State on Monday, suffering an 80-72 defeat as +7 underdogs in a road contest. In the lone meeting between these two teams last season, the Spartans thoroughly dominated the Scarlet Knights, cruising to a 73-55 victory as -10.5 favorites on their home court. While the line for this matchup is somewhat smaller due to the change in venue, the overall circumstances remain quite similar. Michigan State is currently in excellent form, and although they've faced a few close calls recently, a matchup like this could very well see them returning to their usual form of dominating opponents. The Spartans are fully aware that Rutgers' offense primarily revolves around Bailey and Harper, so they will likely focus on containing these two players while capitalizing on the opportunities the matchup presents. Michigan State is an all-around strong team, excelling in nearly every facet of the game. Despite having just one double-digit score, they've managed to score 80 or more points in 3 of their last 5 games. In this particular matchup, Michigan State's offense is expected to be overwhelming for the Scarlet Knights' defense. The Spartans have covered the spread in 2 out of their last 3 games against Rutgers, and they boast an impressive 8-2 record against the spread in their last 10 games. The Spartans enter New Jersey on an 11-game winning streak, with a flawless record in Big Ten play. They are also one of the best rebounding teams in the nation, along with possessing one of the top defenses in the country. Rutgers' ability to hit shots from beyond the arc will likely be stifled by Michigan State's defense, which ranks second in the Big Ten in three-point defense. In the paint, the Spartans are expected to dominate both offensively and in rebounding. Michigan State is ranked second in the Big Ten for rebounding and relies heavily on attacking the basket. This will be a significant problem for Rutgers, as they rank just 16th in the conference in field goal defense. Moreover, Rutgers struggles with field goal shooting, sitting at 14th in the conference in that category, which will not bode well for them against the strong Michigan State defense. Overall, I believe the Spartans have the advantage, particularly in terms of depth and metrics. Michigan State is better equipped to exploit the defensive weaknesses of a Rutgers team that has not been as dominant as it has been in previous years under Steve Picciol. The Spartans are well coached, on a roll, and have plenty of experience playing in the intense environment of Madison Square Garden. Michigan State's winning streak will remain intact come Saturday afternoon, so the Michigan State Spartans to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Despite their excellent defense, the Spartans have been scoring with ease in their last 4 victories, averaging 78 or more points in each of those games. They are currently ranked 7th in the Big Ten in scoring and have been playing at a relatively fast pace, ranking 127th nationally in tempo. The Scarlet Knights, although they have struggled offensively, at least play at a fast pace as well, ranking 98th in the country in pace of play. While the Spartans are not a top-tier three-point shooting team, they should be able to take advantage of Rutgers, who ranks last in the Big Ten in three-point defense. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. Kentucky versus Vanderbilt. It's a highly anticipated showdown between 2 Southeastern Conference teams on the basketball court in the Volunteer State as the number 9 Kentucky Wildcats travel to take on the Vanderbilt Commodores this Saturday afternoon. Kentucky enters the game coming off a 102-97 loss to number 4 Alabama at home in their previous matchup, failing to cover the spread as a 2.5-point favorite. This game took place last Saturday, marking a tough defeat for the Wildcats. On the other hand, Vanderbilt also faced a defeat in their last contest, as they were defeated 103-87 on the road by number 4 Alabama this past Tuesday night. The Commodores were unable to cover the 11.5-point spread, underscoring a challenging game for them. In the all-time series between these two teams, Kentucky holds a dominant 157-49 lead and has emerged victorious Miss in the last 2 encounters. This includes a 93-77 win in their most recent matchup, which took place at Kentucky on March 6, 2024. The two teams squared off twice last season, with Kentucky emerging victorious both times, but they finished 1-1 against the spread. This matchup marks the closest spread between the teams since the 2021 season, which adds an interesting layer to this game. Kentucky has been impressive in conference play, with all 3 of their conference victories coming against ranked teams. With not many opportunities to face teams outside the top 25, this game presents an opportunity that Kentucky needs to capitalize on. Both teams faced Alabama in their most recent contest, and while Kentucky lost by just 5 points, Vanderbilt suffered a larger defeat by 16 points. Kentucky boasts the second-best offense in the Southeastern Conference, trailing only Alabama, while Vanderbilt struggled defensively, allowing Alabama to score 103 points in their previous game. As a result, Kentucky is expected to come out aggressive, while Vanderbilt will face challenges trying to keep pace. While the Commodores may make a run, they are likely to fall short, with free throws helping push the Wildcats to a win. So the Kentucky Wildcats to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Both teams feature some of the top offenses in the Southeastern Conference, and matchups like this one have proven to be highly explosive throughout the season. A great example of this is each team's most recent game. In total, these two teams average 171.5 points per game combined, highlighting their high-scoring capabilities. In their 2 meetings last season, the combined average was even higher, totaling 178 points per game, with both games going over the projected totals. Kentucky ranks 3rd in adjusted offense in the country and 33rd in tempo, according to Ken Palm, making them one of the most dynamic and fast-paced teams in the nation this season. Over the last 8 games, the Wildcats have scored at least 88 points in 5 of those contests, showcasing their offensive firepower. Vanderbilt is no slouch offensively either, ranking 39th in adjusted offense and 44th in tempo. The Commodores have managed to score at least 80 points in 8 of their last 12 games. The over has been successful in 7 of the last 10 games played between these two teams, further suggesting the likelihood of another high-scoring affair. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. Texas Agricultural and Mechanical versus Texas. On Saturday afternoon, 2 Southeastern Conference teams will face off in a high-stakes matchup on the basketball court in the state of Texas. The number 13 Texas Agricultural and Mechanical Aggies will travel across the state to take on the Texas Longhorns, and we are here to bring you our Texas Agricultural and Mechanical versus Texas prediction. Texas Agricultural and Mechanical enters the game fresh off a thrilling victory over number 16 Ole Miss, managing to secure a 63-62 win on the road in their last game on Wednesday night. They achieved the victory as a 3-point underdog, continuing their strong season. Meanwhile, Texas comes into this game following a 61-53 home win over Missouri on Tuesday night, where they covered the spread as a 2.5-point favorite. Historically, the Longhorns hold a significant advantage in the all-time series, leading 80-60, when it was Texas Agricultural and Mechanical who had the last laugh in their most recent encounter, cruising to an 80-60 home win against Texas on January 4th of this year. This upcoming game presents an excellent opportunity for the Aggies to secure another win over their rivals. The last time these two teams met, Texas Agricultural and Mechanical dominated with an 80-60 victory in College Station. The Aggies have been solid against the spread this season, boasting an 11-6-2 record, and have performed particularly well as underdogs, posting a 4-2 mark in such situations. As a team, the Aggies have been impressive on the boards, averaging 41.7 rebounds per game, which ranks 4th in all of college basketball. In comparison, Texas averages 35.6 rebounds per game. Agricultural and Mechanical also holds a significant advantage in offensive rebounding, leading the nation with a 40.9% offensive rebound percentage, while Texas lags behind with just 28.6%. Additionally, the Aggies excel at getting to the free throw line, averaging 17.1 made free throws per game, compared to Texas' 16.1. While the idea of taking points with Texas as a home underdog may be appealing, I don't anticipate a letdown for the Aggies. I believe Texas Agricultural and Mechanical is simply the more talented team in this matchup, and given Texas struggles to string together consistent performances, particularly against top-tier competition, I expect the Aggies to maintain their momentum following their big win over Ole Miss. So the Texas Agricultural and Mechanical Aggies to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Defensively, the Aggies have been rock solid throughout the season, while Texas offense has shown signs of slowing down in recent games. Texas Agricultural and Mechanical has posted a 7-12 record on the over for the season, including a 2-4 record in conference play, while both of Texas' last 2 games have finished under the total. In Southeastern Conference play, Texas has seen its offensive production dip to an average of just 68 points per game, which ranks them 11th in the conference. They also rank near the bottom of the league in pace of play, averaging only 69.3 possessions per game. On the other hand, the Aggies have been stifling defensively, holding opponents to just 38.9% shooting, which ranks 15th in college basketball. Both teams are known for their strong defense, meaning that this matchup will likely feature a lot of forced, contested shots. The Aggies rank 7th in defensive efficiency, 36th in effective field goal percentage defense, 24th in forced turnover percentage, 16th in field goal percentage defense, 53rd in two-point defense, and 61st in three-point defense. Meanwhile, Texas is 37th in defensive efficiency, 39th in effective field goal percentage defense, 61st in field goal percentage defense, and 47th in two-point defense. Given these strong defensive numbers on both sides, it's safe to expect a low-scoring affair, much like the first meeting of the season, which saw a total of 140 points. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. Duke versus Wake Forest. The Blue Devils are set to square off against the Demon Deacons in a highly anticipated Atlantic Coast Conference showdown. Duke enters this game undefeated in conference play and is currently ranked 2nd in the nation. Wake Forest, on the other hand, has only one loss in Atlantic Coast Conference play so far and boasts an overall record of 15-4. This matchup promises to be intense as both teams have shown great promise this season. Although Wake Forest has performed remarkably well in the Atlantic Coast Conference thus far, including an impressive 10-0 record at home, Duke has shown to be operating on a completely different level. The Blue Devils possess a formidable, athletic front line coupled with strong play from their backcourt. Duke is 8-0 in the Atlantic Coast Conference at this point in the season and has also posted a 12-6 record against the spread. In this matchup, Duke is expected to dominate the rebounding battle as they are ranked 2nd in the conference in that category, while Wake Forest sits at 15th. While the Demon Deacons are known for their solid defense, the Blue Devils have been nearly impossible to score on, boasting the best scoring defense in the Atlantic Coast Conference. Additionally, Duke excels in three-point shooting, both in terms of the number of shots made per game and shooting efficiency. Wake Forest has a solid 7-1 record in the Atlantic Coast Conference, but it's worth noting that the Demon Deacons have only faced 2 opponents with winning records so far this season. The teams they have defeated in conference play have a combined record of 19-36, and when facing their toughest opponent, Clemson, Wake Forest was thoroughly dominated. Duke, ranked 2nd in the nation, is the last remaining undefeated team in the Atlantic Coast Conference, with 7 of their 8 conference victories coming by a margin of 10 points or more. The Blue Devils have proven to be the best team on both sides of the ball in the Atlantic Coast Conference and feature one of the most talented players in the nation, Cooper Flagg. Duke's bench is beginning to show more consistency, and their three-point shooting has been on fire. In contrast, Wake Forest has struggled with three-point shooting this season, ranking last in the conference for three-pointers made per game. The Blue Devils have firmly established themselves as the team to beat in the Atlantic Coast Conference, and I have little interest in betting against them, as they are clearly the top team in the conference by a significant margin. Wake Forest is a good team in its own right, but Duke has consistently performed at a higher level against tougher opponents than Wake Forest has faced in this campaign. Both teams come into this game riding impressive streaks, with Duke having won 12 straight games and Wake Forest riding a 6-game winning streak of their own. However, when it comes down to it, Duke's athleticism, particularly in the front court, and their high-powered offense will be too much for Wake Forest to keep up with. The Demon Deacons will struggle to stay competitive, given the Blue Devils' superior offensive and defensive capabilities. So the Duke Blue Devils to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full-game side pick. Wake Forest ranks just 15th in the Atlantic Coast Conference for scoring this season, while Duke sits comfortably in 3rd place in scoring. Not only is Duke a high-scoring team, but they are also the best in in the conference when it comes to scoring defense. Interestingly, Duke ranks 275th in the country in pace of play, meaning they are content with playing a slow-paced, methodical game, something they will gladly do on the road against an offensively challenged Wake Forest team. The Demon Deacons are also low on the pace of play spectrum, ranked 225th, and they will need to replicate the strategy they used against North Carolina, slow the game down and compete with Duke on the boards. Unfortunately, Wake Forest will not be able to rely on three-point shooting to carry them, as they rank last in the Atlantic Coast Conference in this category. Defensively, Duke has been impressive, allowing just 61 points per game, while Wake Forest is giving up an average of 68 points per game in Atlantic Coast Conference play. Duke is certainly going to be a tough team for Wake Forest to contain, but the Demon Deacons do a good job of mixing up their defensive schemes, switching between zone and man-to-man defense. This will help them limit the Blue Devils to under 80 points. On the offensive side, Wake Forest has struggled, particularly with three-point shooting, and lacks depth and offensive firepower. As a result, the Demon Deacons are likely to find it difficult to score consistently in this matchup. Duke's defense will be too much for Wake Forest to overcome, and the Blue Devils should keep the Demon Deacons under 75 points in this game. Given both teams' strong defensive prowess, this game is expected to be low scoring. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.